Many thanks for joining us on Business Now from iBrandTV. I'm blessed Omanose, and now the news in details. The Nigerian economy recorded $1.5 billion inflow within a week after the Central Bank of Nigeria raised the monetary policy rate by 200 basis points to 24.75% on Tuesday. The bank's acting director of corporate communications, Akama Sidi Ali, said in Abuja yesterday that the development was an indication that the CBN monetary policy efforts are working positively. She noted that data available to the bank indicated that the inflows resulted from the bank's concerted effort to stabilize the foreign exchange markets. According to her, the Naira also continued to record gains in the autonomous foreign exchange market as it traded at 1,309 Naira to a dollar as against the 1,611 Naira to a dollar in the second week of March 2024. While noting that Thursday's rate signifies that the Naira was headed in the right direction, she assured that the Cardoso-led CBN would remain committed to ensure the stability of the market and the appropriate pricing of the Naira against other major currencies worldwide. It will be recalled that the CBN's Monetary Policy Committee announced a 2% increase in its benchmark rate from 22.75% to 24.75% on Tuesday. During this post-meeting briefing, Governor of the Central Bank, Olayemi Cardoso, also reiterated that the CBN had cleared off foreign exchange backlog, underscoring the fact that liquidity would improve in the foreign exchange market. Still in the financial sector, 12 banks will be unable to utilize about 4.8 trillion naira in retained earnings in their offers to strengthen their capital base in line with the new Central Bank of Nigeria directive to raise capital. These came as officials of commercial and merchant banks eye Eurobonds and private placement from foreign investors as a race for the bank sector recapitalization raised further momentum. The CBN had in a new circular to commercial, merchant and non-interest banks and promoters of new banks on Thursday announced the review of the capital requirement for the operations of affected categories of banks in the country. Citing both domestic and global shocks, the Apex Bank, in a statement signed by its acting director of corporate communication, Sidi Ali, said it has become necessary to raise the capital base of the banks. Thus, the CBN directed commercial banks with international authorization to increase their capital base to 500 billion naira, and national banks to 200 billion naira, while those with regional authorization are expected to achieve a 50 billion naira capital flow. Similarly, non-interest banks with national and regional authorizations will need to increase their capital base to 20 billion naira and 10 billion naira respectively. The Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture says it will consult with stakeholders and await the disclosure of the complete policy framework from the CBN and the government. National President of NASIMA, Dele Oye, disclosed this in a statement on Sunday, said it was imperative to highlight NASIMA's approach to this matter as one of caution, prudence and thorough analysis. It was reported that the Apex Bank on Thursday unveiled new minimum capital requirement for banks, pegging the minimum capital base for commercial banks with international authorization at 500 billion naira. Oye added that NASIMA acknowledged the significance of the policy shift within the banking sector and its potential implications on the broader macroeconomic landscape. According to him, NASIMA refrains from offering a definite opinion on the policy at this moment until a thorough of the objective and implications outlined by the regulatory authorities. Meanwhile, the Director General of the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, Wale Oyorinde, commended the CBN for its ongoing effort at repositioning the banking sector to fulfill its critical and core role of economic facilitator. To other news now, the federal government has adopted a virtual means of evacuation of crude that involves the utilization of barges and trucks for the transportation of crude from the point of production to injection storage points for eventual transportation to export terminals. It said the alternative crude oil evacuation system was implemented to avoid production deferment, losses and other undesirable consequences as a result of pipeline disruption and outages. This is contained in a new presentation by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission on the stability in the Nigerian energy sector, integrity strategies for infrastructure, transportation and security, made available to newsmen in Abuja on Sunday. Nigerian losses trillions of naira to crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism annually, a development that made the government consider virtual means of transporting the commodity. To tackle these, the NUPRC said the government had to promote the alternative crude oil evacuation system by transporting the commodity through trucks and barges instead of pumping through pipelines. It stated that through collaborations with industry stakeholders, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission had sustained its commitment in implementing targeted initiatives and various measures to combat vandalism and crude oil theft.